In this video we're going to look at Google Docs and specifically at a Google form. A Google form is a way of doing a survey for your students that will allow you to get them to do all their answers online and get automatically generated statistics of the responses. So to do this you need to make sure you have a Google account, and once you've signed up for a Google account you just need to sign into your Google Docs. To create a form specifically you just go to Create New and select Form, which is about halfway down. So Google Docs will open up a new tab in your browser and it will open up your form for you. So to start with, the best idea is to just work top to bottom. So I'm going to give my form a name. I'm going to call it Test Form, and in the second box you're able to fill out any information that you feel may be necessary for somebody to answer your survey. In this case I'm just going to say please enjoy, but you could leave instructions here if you needed to. We now see our question types in this box here. So the question title, the help text and the question type are the things that you'll be using the most. To start with, my question title is going to ask, how old are you? If I needed to, I could write some help text that would appear when I hover over the question with the mouse, but this is a fairly obvious question, so I'll leave that blank for now. And the question type, there are a few options, and we'll look at all of these options. So for the how old are you, I could do text, and it gives you a preview of what it will look like. So they'll type their answer in a box like that. I could do paragraph text, in which case you would type in a longer answer. I could do multiple choice, where I could type in a bunch of options down here. I can do a checkbox, which is a tick box. I could choose from a list, and then I could have a list of items running down. I could also do two more, a scale, so I could say between 1 and 5, between 0 and 9 and so on, and I could do a grid, which will do a horizontal bar, which will allow me to click on all of these options. So for how old are you, I'm going to select multiple choice, and for option 1 I'm going to say 15 to 18. For option 2 I'm going to say 19 to 21, and then I'm going to say for option 3, 22 to 25, and the last one I'm going to say 26 plus. You'll notice with the multiple choice I could also click here or add other, which will give me the other option where they can type in their own answer. Now for this question I don't need that, so if I want to delete something I just hit that little X next to the question and it will go away. I can tick a box that will say make this a required question, so you have to answer this for the actual survey to be completed, or you can leave that unchecked, in which case it's optional. So I'm going to say make this required. Over here I'll see some options. I can edit my question, I can duplicate the question, or I can simply just delete the question if I no longer need it. Once my question 1 is complete, I'm going to go down to and say done, which will say that this question is complete. So I'm going to click done, and you'll notice that it now shows me what the question will actually look like. That little red asterisk means it's required to be answered, and I can now go to question 2. So I'm going to click here where it says sample question 2 and go across to edit. Once I click on edit, I will now do my second question. So this question I'm going to say gender. My help text is going to be, what gender are you? Obviously we wouldn't really need this. And for this one I'm going to do a checkbox. I'm going to have male and female. Now once again, once I'm happy with that question, I'm going to say make this required, and I'm going to click done. Now if I was to double click on any of these questions again, it would then allow me to go back inside and edit them if there are any problems. Okay, so now that I want to keep adding more questions, I'm simply going to go up here to add item, and I'm going to select the question type that I want. So for this question type I'm going to say paragraph text. My question will be, what can we do to help? And this will allow them then to type in a longer answer that they can form in that paragraph text. Once again I'm going to click done, and you'll see how that question looks. A new question, simply add item, and I'm going to say a grid this time. So for this grid question I'm going to say rate our performance on a scale of 1 to 5. So I have my 5 scales there already, and where it has row 1 label, I'm going to say happy, sad, and just make up the rest. And last one, I'm going to make a required question and click done. And you'll see how this question is formed with numbers. So I can click yes, 5, I'm that happy, or no, I'm really sad, or whatever it may be. So that there is your grid style of question. Once you're happy with all the questions that you've entered and you've finished, you may want to change the look. To do that, you can change the theme. So I'm going to click up here in the top left hand corner where my theme is plain, and it will give me an option of choosing a few self-generated ones that have already been created. So you can select any of these. There are 97 that you can browse through. I'm just going to click on one of these, and once I'm happy with that, I'm going to say apply. Once that's done, in the top right hand corner there is a save button. It automatically saves in Google Docs, but you can click on that as well just in case you want to save again. You then have the option of how you want to send this out. You can email the form, in which case it will give you a URL link to send in the email to people, and you can see responses. Obviously there have been no responses yet, so that will be empty. You also have more actions which will let you embed this, which means place it inside a website, or you can do some more editing. If I was to click on email this form, I could simply type in the email addresses of the people that I wanted to receive it. Otherwise you can send it in other ways. Here it'll just give them a link for the URL, and they'll be able to click inside the email to open it up and answer it. I'm going to close my form, and now the other way to edit or play around with it is to look at the form in a different view. So in my Google Docs, my test form is just here. I'm going to click on it to open it, and you'll see it opens like a spreadsheet. Don't have to worry too much about this because you're not really going to edit that. If people had answered these questions, they would appear here. But there are other ways that we can now send our form out or view it. If I go up to this form tool here, click on it, you'll notice that I can edit the form, send the form, go to live form, which means it will show me how it looks like to people that are going to answer it, which is right there. And there was also embed in a web page, show summary of responses. If you want people to no longer be able to send responses, you can untick accepting responses, and then you can delete the form if you want to. I'm just going to quickly answer a few questions myself so we can look at some summary of responses. Okay, so I've just answered 3 there to get some information. So to check those responses, you can see them in the spreadsheet here, or I can go to Form, Show Summary of Responses. It tells me now in a breakdown how many people have answered. I've had 3 responses, and it breaks down with graphs and information what they have answered, and it even gives me percentages. So it's a great way to quickly get responses and answers from a survey, and Google does all this for you instantly. So finally, to send it, we can, like I said, send the form through email. The other way you can send it is if you go to live form, the link that you receive is the link that would appear in your email. You can copy and paste that if you need to put it somewhere else, and it will take them to this page where they can answer the form. So that there is a Google form done in Google Docs. Great way to get responses and feedback back from your students quickly, and it does all the work for you in showing the summary of responses. If you have any other questions, please come and see me. Thanks.